I just now finished putting on the gasket on the valve cover. A couple of things I had to do before that. So on the bolts, there's these seals that you can just pull out and replace them with the new ones. These are it right now. And then you introduce the bolt through the top of the valve cover. But when you get in on the other side, here's something that I had to do and was very careful with. As you can see, there is a way or an orientation this needs to be, right? So the little part that's sticking out is going to be what's sticking out of the valve cover, and this is going to be inserted into the placeholder right here. But you got to get when you get it through, you might see these little tabs here in the center. Now those have to be behind, if I look at this bolt, behind right here. So they gotta kind of, I had to kind of maneuver it over this little piece right here to the back. So it's hard to deal with one hand holding the camera, but let me see if I can do it with one hand. So basically it goes through here and then not stop there, but actually push it down and work it around so that the bolt goes through it, and then it secures it. Now this is ready to go onto the car, and it's going to be torqued to 89 inch-pound. So that's about 7 foot-pound, I believe. But I need to get my inch-pound torque wrench. I don't have with me right now, but that's it. That's all that it needs to go back on the car. And it'll do the same for the other valve cover. Okay, the valve covers are back on. Torqued them to 89 inch-pound. After doing that on both ends, I actually replaced some of these that had the studs sticking out, because it's just easier. I mean, I don't need them. I couldn't find many of them, so I left one of them. Either way, I think it's looking great. After that, I put the coolant rail line back on. First, before that, I hooked this hose here to the back. Let me focus a little bit. You can see it underneath, coming from here, curves to the back. Clip that on, put a little bit of silicone to facilitate the sliding of the hose back in. Then this one was already attached to the rail, so I just added. I need to actually move that one to the front before I forget. Screwed this back in. This one actually has a notch that clips back in there. Then put a little bit of silicone on the O-ring here to make it go in as well. Clip this on, and then I tighten the bolt on here. I didn't torque it, I just hand tightened it. That should be okay. It's pretty tight. Next, moving on, is the fuel rail. So what I'm doing here is I'm removing these O-rings, replacing them. See, these are brittle. They snap right off. Actually, can't focus much, but they must be the original ones. In the kit that I had, it included the new ones. Once I remove them, I use the trusty rubbing alcohol, 91% isopropyl alcohol. Clean this thoroughly. As you can see, it's pretty dirty. Make it and clean it as thoroughly as possible. Then I use a little bit of silicone on the O-rings to slide them back on. And after that, we put it back on the car. But before doing that, I'm just going to replace all of these, and we'll get back here. I just installed back the passenger side header. It was quite a challenge. It took me a while, so I didn't want to waste time recording it. But bottom line is, the gasket has these things at the bottom, and they do go pointing to the bottom. And this is the same one I installed on this side. It has to be installed on the same side, the other side, in the same way. There we go. It's installed. So we'll see if we can go ahead and install now the upper intake air intake plenum. We'll see how that goes. So now I already put the gasket that goes between the lower and upper intake manifold plenum. Essentially it's this right here. The orange parts go upward, and there's some guiding holes for these items here. So yeah, let's put it on there. Okay, at this point I'm just gonna hand tighten the bolts, and then we'll torque them down in two stages and in a specific sequence too. Alright, now to torque them down in the first stage in a specific sequence and to specific torque. Okay, the plenum is 10 to 41 inch-pound for the first stage, and then the second stage in the sequence is it went to 71 inch-pound, I believe. Yes, that was what I torqued it to. So that's ready. It's coming along pretty good. Today I connected all the wiring, everything else that was still pending from like the throttle body. That's set up. The EGR and the EGR hoses, the cables that go to it. This one I had to repair myself because that one had broken from there. The coil, the power pack coil is set. For all the hosing and everything else, I actually sprayed a little bit of silicone in there to ease, then put them back in there. So it's looking pretty good. So next up, so not gonna be today, but later on, we're gonna put I think the tensioner that goes here, all the bracket, then this will attach to it. Still pending on this side is well, I gotta replace. I already order the part, the oil dipstick seal. So that's pending. That's why I haven't put in the header on this side. But it's already in on this side. So the one I painted earlier. I'm gonna power wash these sides as well, as they're all messy. Can't do it right now. That's looking pretty good. All right, so that's a quick update on where we're at with reassembling the engine after undertaking the rebuilding process. So another update for today. Last night I added more components. I added the driver's side header. It's in place now. Added the mid pipe. That said, I didn't record all this because it's just too much trouble to both record and do the process. It's just time consuming. And at the same time, I added spark plugs. I torqued those to 11 foot-pound. They're ready to go. I'm pretty sure the compression's now much better. After that, and adding all the hoses for the EGR components, and plugging everything back in, like I had mentioned previously, I think this is ready to go to start adding the components that go in the front, like the AC compressor, the bracket that goes here, the bracket on that holds the alternator and the hydraulic pump, and then as well as the cover that goes in front of the water pump. After all that, we can start putting the belt on, and I think we'd be ready to add some fluids. But before I do that, I need to now connect the spark plugs. The order that goes in as far as the numbering is 1 from the front to the back. On the passenger side is 1, 2, 3. Driver's side is from the front to the back 4, 5, 6. And to the power coil, clockwise is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's how I'm going to plug in the cables. I'm going to clean them thoroughly just so they look nice and there's no gunk on them. But so far it's looking pretty good. I'll start recording again once I'm ready to put the brackets on. Okay. Spark plug wires are already hooked up to the power coil and the spark plugs themselves. Now we're gonna put the bracket of, which is the one that holds the tensioner and the AC motor on there, the compressor, sorry. Let's see, that is I believe it's what is it, a 13 millimeter socket. So let's go for it. Okay, I think the other ones are around 15. Let's check it out. So this one here is a 13. The other ones are 15. So one other thing I did do while I was working underneath the car was put the lower radiator hose back on, just because it's easier to put it from below the car, just a better reach. Okay, that's it. Yesterday I added more components back in. I bolted this bracket basically that holds the pulley right here, the alternator. I added the pump back in by attaching this bracket back in here too as well. I painted that bracket earlier today, not today, but earlier in the process. So this is a brand new hydraulic pump, so I'm gonna have to fill it with transmission fluid and make sure it's there's no air in there, and burp it and everything that needs to happen. But I'm ready. I'm still waiting on the alternator. It's supposed to arrive today. After that, the following steps would be to add the pulley right here, the pulley back here to the hydraulic pump, the alternator of course, the belt, the air intake hose, or the whole cold air intake, and then add some fluids. I'm actually gonna add some fluids today. I'm gonna add about a quart of oil, a quart of transmission Mercon 5 transmission fluid, and just observe it to see if there's any leaks or anything. But and then I'm gonna add the upper radiator hose. I already have the lower one in there, and start filling up the radiator, and then also attaching the reservoir for the radiator coolant antifreeze. Okay, and then after that, will it start? That's a big question, right? Will it start? We don't know yet. Hopefully it will. Okay. Finally got the alternator. It's in place. Tension, the belts, everything belt is back on. One thing I did notice yesterday, that was my fault, but I had these upside down. So these are 4, 6, 5. Again, 4, 6, 5. With a 3, 2, 1 at the bottom, because I have the actual cable that powers the coil at the bottom, but the diagram in the book in my Haynes repair manual was depicting it the other way around. So that was my bad. But well, okay. So almost all the fluids are there. I still need to top it off, but it has all the oil. Need to add more transmission fluid and of course coolant. But will it start? Let's check it out.